Hi, everyone. Welcome to our AI webinar. So good to see all of you streaming in right here, right now. I've got Crystal with me, the two Crystals, and we are so excited tonight to give you a really, really great experience. 60 minutes. We are primed and ready to go. We just have people streaming in through all the time. So we're going to give them another 2 minutes to come in. But thank you so much for joining us bright and actually it's not bright and early. It is after your dinner time. Thank you
Yeah.
for spending your Monday evening with us. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be with you today. And we have Anastasia with us and Chelsea and the Chat and Build team. And I even have Greg, who's my husband
Right
and
there.
partner who's sitting on the stairs. Come and say hi, Greg. We're just waiting
Hi,
for
everyone.
Yeah, we are so excited to have you all here. Let me see how many people are in. Okay, wow, we have 250 people in, and we are going to get started in just 2 minutes. Those of you who are already with us, you can ideally have your laptop open. If you don't have your laptop open, iPad or your mobile phone will work as well. And you might want to have your pen and paper ready or any sort of note-taking device, because when we get started, I know what Crystal is like. Anyone who's named Crystal talks very fast and has a lot of energy. So we are going to, really get straight into it. And we have a lot of ground to cover today. Not only are we going to cover everything that's promised in the 60-minute webinar write-up, which is everything from models to systems, how taste is going to be your advantage, how to optimize your prompts, all of that good stuff. We are also going to give you a very special flash sale offer at the end of it for our AI course. And also Crystal's going to be giving us a sneak preview of her world exclusive Chat app. So let's just give it another 1 minute to go, because we do have, I think we're getting up to 300 plus now. And then we are going to get started. Crystal, are you excited?
Yes, very excited. It's a big week for us at Chat and Build, and I'm so excited to be here with
Yay.
real life bestie and AI bestie
Yes.
together.
Yes. I think we have to look at that big camera afterwards when we're talking.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah, because
no problem.
unlike we have got this world-class Zoom setup here, so it's like a TV studio. So Greg can do some BTS later, but instead of looking at our computer, which we're so used to, we have to look at the big film camera up there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Chelsea. Yes, the background very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, we have like really nice talk show lighting.
Yes.
Okay, we are kicking off in 1 minute. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so in 1 minute's time, Crystal is going to tell you her personal life story about how she went from geography student to AI pioneer and global expert in a moment. Let's do that. Hello. Hi, Jenny. Thanks so much. Let's just have a look at the chat at the moment. Greg, are you monitoring the chat? Wow.
Looks very
Looked
festive.
very festive, like a professional studio. Hey, this looks like Christmas tree in the background.
Yeah, that is my all year Christmas tree, as I like to call it. We have little ornaments on it, from our travel,
Okay, Greggy, you can
and
take
related fitness medals on it, which you can kind of see
You
the
can take
background.
this. You can help us monitor the chat, Greg. Yep. Okay, awesome. Should we get started, Crystal? Let's get started.
Yeah,
because
sure.
people will stream in anyway, but we should get started to respect everyone's time.
Yes, no problem. Okay, let me share my screen.
Okay, guys. Anastasia, can you also make sure you are muting people who are joining as well?
Okay, so hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining us at Abundant Intelligence. My name is Crystal, and this is also Crystal, and
Yes.
we're so happy that you're taking that 1 hour of your precious Monday evening to join us today. So we won't take up too much of your precious time anymore. We'll just get straight into it.
Absolutely.
So I just want to say that, AI sounds so intimidating to everyone today, but we really are not just in an age of artificial intelligence, but true abundant intelligence, right? And I think what is really important is I want to share my personal journey today, because I didn't come from a super computer science background. I didn't study computer engineering. I studied geography in NUS.
Yes.
But I definitely had a huge sense of curiosity, and I love to learn. I grew up in Bedok, where I didn't really have much, but what I did have were parents that really inculcated my love for learning. And that is me, very embarrassingly, in the very very old bird park in my cute little overalls. Can you imagine what a terror young Crystal was? That is interesting one. And that is actually some unseen footage of me at university. Very exciting.
I've never seen these photographs before.
Yes, and even the fact that I used to even take I hacked together an iPod Nano and made it a watch before the Apple Watch came to be.
Wow.
But that was me. I always like to, create stuff, do stuff, and learn. And, at the end of the day, I basically helped to scale Twitter in Asia as one of the very first international employees. And I led teams across cultures. And eventually I sort of had my lifelong dream of learning AI at the University of Oxford, where I eventually had 2 master programs there.
Yay.
So I built this course together with Christel and ChatAndBuild as well for anyone who always asks questions, because you need to always be able to dream, and learning, as you said today to me, is a lifelong journey.
Yes.
And that's what we have to do. We need to have the growth mindset.
Yes. And I think it's perfect because I think all of us have that curiosity within us, but sometimes we also have limiting beliefs like, oh, maybe this is not for me, or I wish I was more like a computer engineer kind of person. But we're here today to say that, hey, I'm a person who studied law. You're a person who studied geography, but we are really happy, excited, curious about everything we can do. And we're here to help you unlock your growth mindset.
Yep, exactly. So we will all be AI experts together.
Yay.
But there are no true AI experts, but we'll all learn and be the best at AI and thrive in an AI world, okay? Of a world of abundance. So today we're going to cover some very quick things as promised in our Instagram review. We will have a quick overview of the AI landscape today. And very importantly, as some of you may know already, what I love to say is that we are entering a world where you need to start thinking about systems and not just the models. And, living systems around AI, systems around your growth mindset, that is super important. And that also applies to how AI is really evolving today. We will also cover some interesting things on how to learn an optimized prompt and why taste is the biggest human advantage that you can have.
I love this part.
Well, if you think about it, all of us now have access to AI tools, right, to generate videos and content. But what really separates you and me and everyone else on the street is how you actually prompt with a unique perspective and your codified taste. So we'll cover that as well. And finally, we'll give you a little bit of a taster how you can create your own AI agents very quickly and very easily today in ChatGPT agents, but also a sneak preview of Chat, which we are co-launching with OpenAI on Wednesday.
Yay!
And that, I hope, is the easiest way that you can build your AI agent. I have built many different agents within our platform. My favorite is the Chief of Staff agent, which I hope is going to replace my real Chief of Staff very soon. He's sitting in the corner there right now.
Okay.
Okay.
But let's get on with it.
All right. So AI is actually entering its really serious era, right? I think a lot of us have seen that. We've started out with the prompting era where we're like, oh my God, ChatGPT, Claude, it's such a magical chatbot. I can do summaries, meeting notes, and everything else super simply. And I think that's where we've started going from AI as a magical chatbot to what I call the orchestration era and then the systems era. How do you actually organize AI to work around memory and context and your own personal workflow? How do you transform? I think one example that I love to use, the weekly leadership update from your boss. Oh my God, so many different levels of context that you have to put together, from emails and communications with your teams and Slack and everything else, into a concise leadership update. Oh, that is like what, one whole day of work, right?
It's true. Yeah, you have to coordinate with everyone. You have to chase the departments that didn't submit the inputs. You have to put your own personal flavor, and then you have to do the TLDR at the top.
God. Yes, exactly, because no boss is going to read the whole thing. Trust me, I know that. So can you imagine like all of that coming together? So that also applies to AI, because it's no longer just about the model, but the system around it. So we are really now starting to think about agents and what really is the definition of an agent, right? We've also covered that as well, because everyone has many different definitions of agents. We will also talk about something really important, inference economics, because is it actually cheaper to have AI do this for you, or is a human actually cheaper to do that for you? We're going to talk about cost per IQ. And finally, the discernment era, how we're going to start moving from large language models to eventually world models, where physical AI, humanoids, robots, what is actually the precursor to a world model?
Very, very excited about that, because I saw like this Fei
Li,
she just talked about world models today, so I can't wait till that part.
Yes, exactly. And actually, video models are the precursor to world models, because it sort of respects, the laws of physics in generating videos. So you're starting to see that already happen. We'll cover that too. And finally, taste as the ultimate operating advantage of what you can see today. So quickly, very quickly saying, all right, there's a lot of things happening in AI, and it feels like every other day there's some new AI feature which is going to kill all of our jobs and all of us are going to die or whatsoever. Don't worry, don't give in to the noise. Now, what has really been happening in the last 6 months, I would say in particular, right, that there are really only 3 races happening at once. The first race is the frontier model race, and that's the race between all of the frontier AI labs in, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and the Chinese labs as well, not to forget DeepSeek, Alibaba, etc. The second race is the enterprise workflow race, because everyone is racing to try and get AI adopted within their organizations. The third race really is about the agentic harness race. Now, that's where I'm playing in, basically, but essentially trying to design a system where agents can work around it. Because designing an agent, as we know, is not as simple as wrapping ChatGPT or Claude as a model and asking them, okay, go and do this. It needs to connect to your memory. It needs to connect to your workflows. It needs to connect to security, permissioning, right? And that is another race. So when people ask me what's really happening in AI today, I always go back to the 3 principal races. Is it a frontier model race? Is it the agentic harness race? Or is it the enterprise workflow race? And even within this, you can actually see the top AI companies today, right? I think to be really good, you only can focus on 2 out of 3. Like for me, I am not focusing on developing my own model. So I'm focusing on agentic harness as a race, but I will also go into the enterprises through our B2C to B product, which is chat, right? If you are, say, OpenAI, Anthropic, or Google, you really are maybe going for the frontier model race and the enterprise workflow race. And that's why, a lot of these frontier AI companies have also built out really large ecosystems to kind of have, basically forward deployed engineers and companies that they work with so that they can actually get agentic harness systems actually up and running. So that's one way to look at it.
One thing that you said that blew my mind was that in China, there's more than 4,000 models. And in the US, there's like less than 10, something like that, right? And you think about it, like 10 and 4,000, that's huge. So like the way US and China are doing AI, the AI race is kind of like miles apart.
Yes, for sure. And I think, even just benchmarking a lot of the Chinese models today, a lot of the Chinese models right now, I would say maybe are at most 3 months behind the US.
That's what I heard as well.
Yeah, and it's like more comparison of like Sonnet 4.5 maybe. So it's not very, very far away. And it's a lot cheaper to use. So we try a lot of that as well.
Yeah, but China models, apparently, they are using like what, 5% of the resources that American models are using. So like I think it won't be long till we shouldn't say we, but Chinese models catch up, right?
Yeah, I think so. And they have access to better clean energy as well.
Yes.
Another topic for another day. Another talk for another webinar.
We move on.
Brings me to my next slide. How did you know that was my next slide?
I didn't actually. We're always telepathic.
Yeah, that's how we sync up. Oh my God. Okay, anyway, so China AI, that's the next slide. Very exciting. So as we said, it's roughly 3 to 6 months behind the US frontier models, but China definitely is way, way, way ahead when it comes to physical AI. For sure. I mean, that whole industry just blows my mind.
What do you mean by physical AI?
Humanoids, robots.
Oh yeah, robots.
Yeah, robots, exactly. And that's a huge keynote for another day. I think we heard some of that even yesterday, right, Tom? At the Chinese speech. But yes, anyway, and as I was saying, right, but China may not actually lead the frontier AI labs in the Western world now, but what they do lead in is very cost-efficient deployment into the enterprises. For sure, because the economics of the inference and the token amount is much, much slower. So it's quite interesting. And I think one way to kind of look at it is, what is maybe the equivalent today? I like to say that Alibaba is the equivalent of Google, because basically they have access to what we call the T-hat chips. Of course, they have Alibaba Cloud, which is a bit like Google Cloud, right? Then your ByteDance is a bit more, I would say a little bit more like OpenAI, really, because they have access to a lot of a lot of data. ByteDance also has the very popular seed dance,
social media,
and then TikTok and everything. So this again is a huge topic altogether, but basically what we're also really, really seeing today is that the Chinese landscape is fast evolving, and I think I need to update all of my slides in the next 3 months after this, just to kind of see how all of that is going to stack up against the Western models.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we want to just quickly touch upon some key points as well, right? So there are differences between a model, a tokenizer, a harness, and a system. So the model, as many of you have seen, whether it's Claude Opus 4.8, or whether it's OpenAI GPT 5.5, and there are many incremental models that come out that you may see in the press, right? So a model is derived in really like 6 parts, right? You have the intelligence engine, you have something called a tokenizer, which is your favorite word, right, darling? She loves it's an inside joke. We will share that later. The tokenizer, basically converting your words, right, or your input into output through the black box of the large language model. And the large language model actually is a misnomer because it is actually made of many numbers. So you have to convert your words into numbers in order for the output to come out. But that's a separate topic altogether. And the model is also representing an economic contract, right, between you and the Frontier AI Lab. Now, the tokenizer, as I like to say, is the hidden translator and the meter to convert your incoming input to output. And every model has every Frontier AI Lab has developed different tokenizers for different models. And that's why the pricing for how you use Anthropic versus OpenAI versus Google and even the Chinese models are very vastly different. It's because of the tokenizer.
So it's essentially like if I was to send the same request, like, write me a speech on, whatever, natural disasters to ChatGPT and to Claude and to Google Gemini, all three of them would take the same sentence, but the tokenizers for each of these would convert my simple word sentence into like a bunch of tokens, like a bunch of coins. And like everybody would calculate it differently in terms of how much it would cost. And then at the end of the day, when we as companies, and as individuals start using AI a lot, they're actually going to start charging us like ERP on how much we use, right? So basically, it's like depending on how much they calculate, our same request could be much more expensive in Claude or Gemini than it is on OpenAI. It's what I think I understand. Is that right?
Well done for coming to the AI masterclass. I didn't. Okay, class over. All right, no, but that is exactly right, and I think that is one of the key takeaways as well for many of us today, especially if you're looking at deploying AI in your organization. That is the number one thing you need to look at, because it's not as simple as looking at the price of the API, but what really is, how are these models translating your prompts into tokens? And we'll cover that on which is efficient and which is not so efficient. Now, I'm sure many of us have heard about OpenClaw. Oh my God, if I had $1 for every time someone told me about OpenClaw, right? But it was actually quite interesting. So OpenClaw really is just pointing to that agentic harness as a category. So remember when I said that there are only really 3 races happening, which is, the frontier model race, the enterprise workflow race, and the agentic harness race. So OpenClaw was kind of like the first sort of agentic harness, open source, but with its own issues, that kind of took a lot of the imagination and the world by storm, because they're like, oh my God, this is an agent that could take over my computer and do all of these things, with ramifications, of course. But why that is important is because we saw the demand, right? Everybody wanted an agent that could just do stuff for
travel
them.
agent, PA, all kinds of stuff, nutritionist. So that was when like people realized that this harness thing is essentially like you can take the power of a model, but then you can kind of like strap all these different things to it, which is why it's called harness. And then it becomes like a system with judgment you're going to go into.
It's like a Lego house, basically. You can do so many things with it, right? So an agentic harness basically comprises of these 11 key parts: the tools, the memory, the permissions, the connectors, API based or MCP based, MCP being model context protocol, an open standard that was developed by Anthropic, approval flows, logs, because you need to know what the agent has done, runtime environments, because your agent, once it has access to a computer, about a terminal, basically, it's able to execute commands for you effectively, like transcribing YouTube transcripts is one good example, right? Evaluation, rollback, privacy boundaries, and observability. But the main thing is that for an agent to actually work as a workflow, we will talk about the definition in a moment, you need to have a lot of these things in place. And OpenClaw, I think, was the very first one that brought that into the popular imagination. Since then, there was like Hermes agent framework and all of that, but these are open source also for a reason, because you could basically go in and see, okay, is it something that I can trust? Is it safe? But it comes with a lot of ramifications. And I wouldn't recommend anyone just trying it immediately. If you do want to try it, do install it on an isolated sandbox, aka buy a Mac Mini if you want, but there's also a very easy way for you to experience your own agents, and we'll cover that today as well.
Yay.
So the first, I would say the 6 shifts for AI in 2026 really are classified into 6 different parts: agents, identity, memory, inference, taste, and also world models. These are the 6 core shifts that I think a lot of companies are really organizing themselves around. Everyone talks about agents. Identity is going to be very important because at the end of the day, you need to give your agents team roles. Right?
Yes.
You can't have one agent for everything.
Yes.
You have one agent as a chief of staff,
Mhm.
one as a travel planner, one to do your personal
Yeah.
admin. You can't mix your family related agents with your work agents
It's
too.
so true. And I was just at a conference with Singtel, the group CEO was talking about how they're going to have teams with like 5 people and 200 agents, and each agent has a specific role because they have different permissions
Yeah.
and they have different, skills. And we're going to get to that in a moment.
Yes. No, it's true. And that's where, the identity comes in. So agents it's like they need a passport because you need to know who they are.
Yeah.
And they need to have a boarding pass because you need to know where are they able to fly. So you can't just
Yes.
fly from Shenzhen to Shanghai because you feel like it. Like the agents can only fly from Shenzhen to Beijing, right?
Yes.
And that is also the point. Now, memory is a big, I would say, topic in AI
Yes.
today. So I've actually been very passionate about this topic, and that's why I built something called a living brain
I love that.
within chat, which we'll share about in a moment. But if you're not able to bring in your own personal context and memory into AI is just going to sound so generic even before you fit your personal taste.
It's true. And I find it takes a lot of time. So a lot of AI so-called experts are going to tell you like, how do you optimize your prompt to prompt ChatGPT better? But at the end of the day, ChatGPT, like you're going to need to put so much context for everything. And it's very tiring every single time you want to talk to somebody. It's like, imagine there's somebody with amnesia, then you got to start from the whole thing again. That's why memory is so important, because we want to have agents just like our staff members who understand and remember the entire context and preferences of how we like to do things.
Can you imagine if you had to brief your chief of staff every Monday?
Hi, I'm Crystal, remember me? Let's go through the whole thing again. It's like that movie Memento, where the guy has like amnesia all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what was the other one with Adam Sandler? Oh, 50 First Dates.
Yeah.
Oh my God, can you imagine that? Yes, I remember that one. So I'm the rom-com person. Anyway, the point is, okay, so inference. Okay, then after that we come to inference, right? Because all of this is going to cost money, right? And that's important because we are now moving from just looking at model IQ, actually cost per outcome.
Yes.
And is it really cheaper for you to run Opus 4.8 for everything? Oh, please don't do that, by the way. Like you please don't do that, because you're gonna have this huge bill and you're like, why did I run Opus 4.8 for such a simple task?
In fact, companies are already saying that certain companies are reporting that employees are spending $2,000 on average or something like that a month on AI. And certain companies have certain token boards where they can see like who use the most tokens and whatever. But it's backfired because now their AI spend is getting out of control for many companies, and they're realizing that, okay, yes, we want to use AI, but we want to use it in a smart way.
Yeah. No, and adding to your point, right? I was speaking at a conference yesterday, and I was basically saying it doesn't mean that it's the highest reasoning model that will be the best.
Yes, overkill, right?
It's overkill, it's overthinking. Can you imagine if you ask a PhD scientist to do your schedule? It's like one of those things, right? It will not work because sometimes you just want something done now efficiently and fast.
It's like in medicine, they call it minimum effective dose, right? So you just need the minimum. Otherwise, it's very wasteful.
You can't take antibiotics for everything. That's what my husband likes to say. So anyway, well, coming back to the point, so inference. Okay, now taste is very, very important as well, because taste is what makes you stand out in a world where not intelligence is abundant.
Absolutely.
Right? So, I mean, do you want to share?
No, I mean, for me, taste is everything, because everything is out there on the internet. You can get ChatGPT to draft everything. But then people ask me like, oh, why is it that when I speak on panels, I tend to go viral? Or why is it when I, put something out there? And by the way, I'm talking
viral.
I'm saying the same things in essence as many, many people are. But it's the way I put it across in a sound bite. It's the way I choose to use the language with my own reference points and my own values. So, everyone has their different sort of style Bible and, their idea of taste. And I feel like, taste is now going to be such a huge taste, and trust are going to be the huge differentiators for us in the world of AI, so that we just don't like all melt into like what Crystal calls 7 out of 10 writing. So everything now is 7 out of 10. Because AI is going to give you a 7 out of 10 answer for everything. How do you make yourself like a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
That is the function of taste.
Yes, at the end of the day, as we all know, like even like back and then the PSL, you can't just get A, you must get A star, right? So that's the most important. Yes, I know. Okay. Yes. So the definition of an agent, very, very important. Definition of an agent is
Structured workflows with judgment.
oh, thank you.
She drilled that in my head like 100 times during the master class.
Yes. Well, but that's really it, because everyone has a very different definition of an agent. But I really think this is the simplest way to understand, because agents are not some magical genie that does everything for you.
Yeah.
It's a workflow, and you need to, why I say that's so important, you need to identify the workflow that you want to repeat.
Yes.
And after you find a workflow that you want to repeat, you can decide which parts of it you can hand off to the agent, which will help you ease your cognitive load. And then at one certain point, okay, you know, they can do all of this stuff that the human will approve. So I'll give you an example. Will you trust your agent to just send out an email to your boss immediately?
Definitely not.
Cannot, right? So you have the guardrails that say, okay, the agent can summarize all the information, gather everything. Okay, show me the information sources. Okay, good. All right. Summarize all of that to the leadership update. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Then you can send off to your boss, right? But there are 3 or 4 steps. But this is my point. The agent is actually a workflow with judgment at certain levels, but the human has to approve it at the end.
Yes.
And that's important.
Yeah. So it was like once, you know, just recently I made a video analyzing, like, say, Sushan from DBS CEO Sushan's speech. So I basically said to my agent, go off and, you know, find this speech of Sushan that's online. And what I want you to do is to transcribe it. And you can't do this with Claude or ChatGPT or whatever, but they have to like transcribe it. And then after that, I was like, give me the text, summarize it and everything. And then I gave my own point of view as to what were the angles I want to make for that. But, you know, at every point of time, we're working together.
Yeah.
It's not like I just hand it over to the agent and the agent does stuff.
Yeah.
It's like almost like I made that script. And then after that, I said to the agent, take out everything that's going to stop me, that might get me canceled.
Yeah.
And then like we have this conversation.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, there we go. Okay, so I continue on.
Okay.
So what makes agents work in the real world, right? We'll try and speed things up a bit, but we'll be very happy to send you all of these slides after the webinar as well. So agents basically have to work in the real world to 3 different things. You need to have workflow library. So the first thing that you need to do before you start trying to automate all your agent is to identify what are the workflows that you want to automate and create a library for them. Second thing is, within all of these workflows, what are the control planes? It's just like having a social media manager. Would you ask your social media manager to just post an Instagram reel without your approval? Probably not, right? So same thing, right? You need to identify the workflow and then what the permissions are. And then finally, the receipts. Now, it's not so easy to see that right now from standard agent platforms today, unless you are a pro programmer, because you got to see the logs within the terminal, for example. But at ChatChat, what we try to do is basically let you see very easily, okay, if you have your, you know, say your Garmin connected and your Slack connected, you know that your agent has already accessed your data from Aura and Garmin and Slack at this timing and this timestamp. And that builds the trust as well, that the agent is actually doing the right thing. And that's very, very important.
Absolutely.
And as I said, agent identity. So every agent has a specific team role. Just like, you know, you can't hire one person to do all 20 things for you. You have different roles for all of your different agents. And that's what you also need to do before you start trying Claude Code and spending $5,000 on, you know, this and that and whatever AI platform it is, right? Know what agents you want to build out, what are the workflows, create the library, then also decide what permissions they actually need. And that is very, very important. Okay, now memory. Now memory is what turns AI from helpful to trustworthy. So as part of the master class, which is very, very exciting, the digital program, we will also provide for you a master memory prompt, which you can download to any AI platform today that we have customized, and you can use that to export your memory out of Claude, OpenAI, Gemini, whatsoever, and use it as a first central database so that you know what AI actually knows about you. I think that's very, very important, right? And I think a lot of people now, because they always tend to stick to one AI platform in the end because they feel that that is the platform that understands them the most. Whereas I always say it's good to try different things, but you keep your memory and update your memory close to you, because that is like your ID as well, and that is important.
So what Crystal did is that she sent us on WhatsApp all of this huge prompt, and we were supposed to paste it into ChatGPT. And when we pasted it in there, it was essentially like it told ChatGPT to export every single thing that it knew about us in multiple dimensions and put it in some kind of like text file. And then we were able to take that and put it and paste that anywhere that we wanted to, so that our memory was kind of like almost like you know like a what do you call it, like a thumb drive.
Yeah, like a thumb drive. Yeah, that's a
So
good word,
are we
actually.
gonna paste that in the chat, or like how are we gonna get it to everyone on the masterclass?
I'll put it as a PDF.
Oh, okay.
As
Or
PDF.
or maybe if Anastasia or anybody has it,
Yeah.
like we can also paste it in the chat in a moment.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Can.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so at the end of the day, right, what is going to happen as well is that the mode is going to be profitable by default AI, because again, you can't just be spending X amount on API tokens per month without knowing actually what it's really going to cost versus a human versus an AI, right? And I think that's going to become a really important one for many of us. So the operating metric for a lot of organizations is going to be what we call cost per outcome. So these are the 5 key areas where we can say, okay, is it really going to be cheaper and better and faster for AI or a human?
Yes.
Right?
So interesting.
Yeah, so you can have many different agents solving it for you per KPI metric. But if you can think about it, the cost per support issue resolved, right? Do I actually prefer humans or agents solving my support issues?
Yes.
There are some things that I think an agent can help with, but at the end of the day, many people just want a human touch.
Yeah.
Right. And they want the human to solve that. So that is going to be that sort of a balance that every organization needs to strike with. The cost per qualified lead generated. Now, actually, this is the first, I think, month that all of agent and bot traffic has actually outranked all of human web traffic as reported by Cloudflare. This just came out yesterday.
By the way, something that you said in the masterclass that blew my mind is that currently we are doing all this search engine optimization. You probably heard about SEO and have your website SEO optimized. And then Crystal in our very first masterclass said, you know, in the future, you need to optimize not for humans, but for agents, because agents are the ones that are going to be crawling the web.
Yeah.
So like, how do we actually make sure that our content is actually easily readable and appealing to agents, not humans? So that's
exactly. And that is called answer engine optimization for next masterclass. Okay. And then, but cost per invoice collector, cost per report generated as well. Now, I think cost per report generated for sure. I think, AI definitely is a lot more efficient for sure. And then cost per customer request handled, but that's exciting. Okay, my favorite slide.
Oh my God. Okay, inside joke. This is like, this is Crystal's favorite topic ever. So I must give her only like 2 minutes to talk about this.
Okay, go. Okay, sure. Okay, so basically, as you know, as we were talking about it, right, every frontier AI lab basically has developed something called a tokenizer so that it can convert your words, your random input, images, whatever, into a string into numbers, right? With and there's a black box because there's things like softmax functions and whatsoever, and then the output basically comes out. But basically, a large language model is a large number model, right? And the tokenizer is all developed by the labs by itself. So historically, the metric is roughly like for every sentence, 3/4 of that will be the token number. So if there will be basically 4 words, it'd be 3 tokens, right? But what is actually quite interesting is that for a lot of these tokens and the output today, right, there are also different ways to prompt it. So if I actually basically could calculate basically the differences between OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, and all of that, right? You will actually see that OpenAI is actually the most cost-efficient tokenizer in the market.
Yes.
And I think there's also a reason for it because they have secured a lot of compute, and a lot of that is basically going towards, optimization of their models, creating a lot of things, and they're focused on that. Now, Anthropic has actually, funnily enough, the least efficient tokenizer in the market because it is a very complex, high reasoning model. And I think the other part of that as well is because Anthropic is really gunning for revenue. Especially in the last 6 months, they have to make money.
Okay, so OpenAI is like economy class and like Claude is like whatever, like business class and first class, is it?
Yeah, I mean, you can say it that way as well. But if you kind of look at the different benchmarks as well, I mean, and benchmarks are also very different. Like you can't put a mathematician to take a science exam. They may not do so well. So I would say across the board, a lot of the models, benchmark to benchmark, they're pretty similar today. I mean, when GPT Codex first came out, the first coding model came out, it was right, I would say not so good. Now it's amazing. I mean, I use Codex all the time now versus even Claude Code because it's faster, it's economically a lot cheaper, and it gives me the results that we need. So that's at least me. But I personally love using Gemini, Omni for video generation and seed dance. But I use GPT 5.5 on a daily basis now.
So key takeaway for everyone is that it helps to have a few different models. Like when I first started off using AI, I was just like using ChatGPT, and then after Crystal's first masterclass, I was like, okay, I got to install Gemini, I got to install Claude. And it's really true that, these things, they have like very different ways of operating, and now I use Claude for my writing, but I use GPT as as OpenAI for ChatGPT for a general all purpose.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so next slide. Well, tokenizers basically turn language to economics, basically. And this is very, very important. At the end of the day, you need to have an AI operating layer for cost, quality, and safety. So these are very important. You need a model routing. You can't use Opus 4.8 for everything, right? Or GPT 5.5 high reasoning maximum, for everything as well, because basically it's not going to be very economically.
So basically, when you have these agents, if you have an agent, the agent actually is hooked up to multiple models.
That's right.
So the agent, like Sir Tom, my agent, he needs, when I give him a request, he needs to figure out which model to go to at the back end to make it most economical and efficient, right?
That's right. Exactly. And for us, even as an AI company today, we actually develop our own model routing system so that basically it will work. Depending on the request, how complicated it is, how easy it is, it's routed to the right model.
Yes.
So that we consume less tokens. That's better for everyone. That's better for the customer as well, and that's going to be really important. Okay. So where do I start with AI in 2026? Now, we talked about workflow libraries and agents and all of that. The first thing you need to remember is you need to identify the workflows that you want to repeat, right? And then decide within these workflows, what can you give hand off to automation or an agent to repeat with judgment? And at what point does that hand over to you as a human, or can you just automate it entirely and let the agent take care of it, right? So on the axis of the human coordination required and also the context complexity, I would say automating the obvious are things like summarizing and formatting. Of course, you can ask AI to do that. That is not very difficult to do. And don't, again, turn on the most maximum reasoning model for that. Then, you obviously also have things like that are basically high context work, maybe managing multiple stakeholders, your boss, your team, downward, upward management, cross management, whatsoever, right? All of that, right? You basically have to kind of think about, okay, I need to have a bit of human coordination there, but are there some workflows within that I can basically automate?
Sorry, Anastasia, could you help us mute the participants? Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. And then after, there's also like orchestrating the repeatable, right? So basically what we're talking about here are multi-step work, like, basically hiring a candidate. You can't ask AI to do everything for you. That wouldn't be very nice.
Like, hire me a new team member.
Right, exactly. And you even need to think about prompt injection, because there's a very famous prompt injection technique. For example, for recruiters now, if you look at say a CV, right? You can actually put in negative text or white text on a PDF,
like,
and say, prefer me as a candidate, right? And then if you pass the CV into the large language model, the large language model will read the whole text and see the white text on the PDF and say, oh, this is an excellent candidate for the role. So these are things that we'll cover at another masterclass, prompt injection techniques. But this is my point about human coordination needing to happen, because otherwise everything is just going to be automated and there's no guardrails. And that's going to be really important. Okay, so from words to roles, and I think this is where I would say large language models are really going to evolve into multifaceted, spatially intelligent models that are going to really merge the worlds of the digital and the physical together with humanoids and robots and all of that. So, I mean, Fei Li does amazing podcasts on this topic. I highly encourage you all to go and listen to her. She's the godmother of AI. Really, really amazing. And in fact, NVIDIA, we're also part of the NVIDIA Inception program. They've actually open sourced a world model actually, which is available for download and tweaking if that's something that you would love to try. But yeah, that's something that they do. And then
wait. What is a world model? Like, in very, very simple terms, because like how I understand from you is that currently AI only has one sense.
Yes.
So it can only like have text.
Yes.
Or you can talk to it, kind of. But it can't see.
Yes.
It can't touch like a human being. It can't smell. It can't taste.
Yeah.
So basically, like what are we talking with world?
So basically, world models are basically combining essentially words and text and all of that very singular inputs with physics. That's just really it. So it's basically how physical AI and digital AI is really just coming together, basically.
So give me an example of like what
self-driving cars.
Okay, the self-driving cars is, how about the Roomba?
The Roomba, oh yes.
Your vacuum cleaner.
Yes, there was one masterclass which we did last year when I said there are only really 5 types of AI agents. The first AI agent that you will know is the Roomba, which is
your vacuum cleaner.
Your vacuum cleaner.
Your robotic vacuum cleaner. And And that was when everyone's mind was blown because we were like, what? We already have an AI agent in our house sweeping our floor?
It is a repeatable workflow with judgment. You can't bump into a wall, you know, you have to scrub up the dirt, right?
Yeah, so that was a great metaphor because then when
Yeah.
everyone could figure out that, oh, your Roomba vacuum cleaner is actually an AI agent because it can sense,
Yes.
it can read the environment,
Mm.
it can interface with our world,
Mm.
and it also has judgment. It
Mm.
knows how not to go down the steps or whatever it is and turn itself off. Then that's essentially an AI agent, right?
Yes, exactly. So I would say that, you know, world models are something that people are still trying to work out, but I would say NVIDIA is really leading the pack here. Fei Fei Li's Marble by World Labs as well. Jan LeCun is the other guy that was formerly at Meta, and he basically did something called the Joint Embedding Predictive Architecture for images and videos that basically can combine physics and models together. Very long story, but basically spatial intelligence, essentially. All right, so we will cover that. Okay, my favorite part, taste. Yay. Okay, so when intelligence is abundant, taste really becomes your operating advantage. As I like to say, you know, AI is really trained on giving you on basically so much data, right? It gives you the most acceptable and average output.
And boring.
And
it always says the AI, if you ask it to tell you about, like, let's say a politician, okay, I better not cite anyone specific. Then it will say, well,
you're gonna go viral again.
Yeah, I know. Some people, he will be like, you know, my AI agent would be like, no, I mean, my AI would normally be like, some people say this about her, and some people say that about her. And like, but they won't give you like a point of view, an opinion. And sometimes people just want, they don't care whether your opinion is like mellowed or like precisely correct, but people want an angle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think this is the point. Like, if some of you have tried, you know, different vibe coding apps, you will always see the same purple, blue gradients, Arial, you know, Times New Roman kind of thing coming out. There is absolutely no taste in that, which is fine because that was very early AI. Even, I mean, we developed our own coding agent and we found that to be a limitation very early on. So how do you go from 7 out of 10 to 9 out of 10 and 10 out of 10 is the thing, because everyone can now prompt, right? But not everybody has true taste, right? And how taste can compound. Again, this is one whole slide that is a whole masterclass by itself. Like, how do you go from generated taste to structured taste, you know, to signature taste, right? Like, you know, Crystal is very stylish, for example. I always see her in very stylish clothes. But anyways, I will say, but you know, Crystal has very good taste, and her taste has been, fashion sense has been evolved, you know, over time, right? You know, through different cultures, different histories, and everything else, because that's your personal pattern, and that's your encoded standard. I have a very different fashion taste. Like, today, I'm not in orange, but I love wearing an orange suit. So, you know, basically, how do you go from statistical output to live discernment? If AI had to decide what I'm going to wear that is safe and boring, I'll just be wearing a jacket and pants all the time. That would be very boring, right?
Yeah.
So taste is not what you generate. It basically is what survives selection, use, and memory. So I think a lot of us now are sort of trying to figure out between the distinction between prompting era and optimization era. Now we'll come to the next step very shortly, where we'll give you the 7 keywords of an optimized prompt. And then we will go into the taste coded system. So this is the one thing that you can definitely try today. Now, an average prompt versus an optimized prompt and a taste-coded system. Let's just say I asked ChatGPT today, can you write me a headline and a sub-headline for an AI masterclass for business leaders? It would just give me unlock the power of AI for business. Okay, nobody will attend a webinar. It sounds very boring. You know, like, okay, you know, it's plausible.
Sounds like one of those SkillsFuture course outlines.
Okay,
sorry.
Yes. Okay, but yeah, you know, you get the point. Like, it's very plausible, it's very safe, it's very generic, not very inspiring. Okay, so 7 out of 10. Okay, acceptable, can pass. Now, but if an optimized prompt is, okay, you know what? I need to have options. So I want 5 headlines and 5 sub-headlines. I want the tone to be premium. I want to avoid hype. And because I'm going to optimize it for social media, the headline should be under 10 words, right? Because nobody has time to read a more than 10-word headline. And then the output would be, okay, AI for leaders beyond the hype. Okay,
that's this one. Not bad.
Okay, not bad. Okay, yeah. It's a bit better, you know, but so that it's more useful, stronger structure. It's already there, but you are already specifying that you want options, right? And you want to avoid the hype, etc. Now, a taste coded system will put in your point of view. So you need to think of what actually is your point of view when you want to do an AI masterclass for business. So my point of view here is that AI is no longer, you know, just novelty. It is becoming operational infrastructure. So when I think about it and I say, okay, I want to create some headline and something headline options. My point of view is that, you know, AI is no longer just novelty. It is becoming operational infrastructure. I want it to be elegant and sharp and intellectually serious, right? Then the output is like, oh, from models to systems. Wow, sounds very interesting already. Okay, a bit interesting. Oh, that is the title of my talk, right? But how do leaders turn AI from impressive outputs into operational advantage? So that reflects standards and my point of view, and also the rejection logic. And that is like 9 out of 10. At least that's what I say. So you need to define what excellent looks like before the generation begins. Otherwise, there's no excellent output. That's really straightforward. So an optimized prompt basically has 7 critical components. Fun fact, you can actually search for something called the GPT-5 prompt optimizer. It is available for free by OpenAI. And if you Google it and search for it, you can find it. You can actually copy and paste your entire prompt that it will optimize it for you, and you can copy and paste that prompt back into ChatGPT.
Sorry, what they call again?
The GPT-5 prompt optimizer.
GPT-5 prompt optimizer. So you can paste any prompt in there and it will like redo your prompt into something that is actually more precise.
Free to use. Okay, so try that today. But I would say that this is also the framework that you can use, which is 7 critical components. What the purpose is, what the checklist is, what the context is, what the output format is. Like, do you want a table? Do you want a graphic? Do you want a graph? Do you want a 5,000 word essay? Don't do the 5,000 word essay. It never turns out well. 1,000 word, I think, is the maximum. The verbosity level, do you want it to be a structured? Do you want it to be a summary? The reasoning effort as well. And what are the boundaries and limitations?
I want to ask you, Crystal, normally when I write a prompt, the first thing I do have been doing intuitively is I tell ChatGPT or Claude or whoever what role that person is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you like you're like, it's like you're an actor. Okay, so I'll be like, you are my dream therapist and you're trained in Jungian dream therapy, or you're like a top 1% LinkedIn coach for whatever. So like, where does that like fall under?
Yeah, so okay, so basically if you have that, for example, right, you can actually tell ChatGPT, if you are too scared to write this by yourself, you say, okay, you know what, I want you to be able to follow this structure to optimize my prompt. So help me write the prompt according to this structure.
Okay, so before you just tell it what to do, you say like, okay, actually help me write a prompt by like, you know, giving me all the kind of questions that you need.
Yes, exactly. And
I've done that before. Actually, I put it in voice mode before my ChatGPT. So I've asked it ask me questions one at a time so that until you get enough information for you to feel that you have the perfect prompt to go on.
Exactly. And you can do that very easily. So don't be shy and don't be scared. You don't think that you have to write this entire 7 critical components by yourself. You can actually ask AI to help it write it, as long as you dictate it and say, I want all of this filled out. What information do you need? And you'll come up by itself.
Cool.
So it's very straightforward. Yeah, exactly. And okay, first do that. Then come into taste, because you need to learn how to walk before you learn how to fly. So very, very important. So then after you do that and you can see the result of that, then we come into taste, because that's where you start putting in your point of view, right? Like, you know, like I said, you know, basically AI is becoming operational infrastructure. It's no longer novelty. So I want to create a masterclass around that. What are some good headlines I can use, right? That is better than just, okay, give me some, you know, I want to create an AI masterclass. What is
Does this all go into your brain?
Yes.
Into your second brain, right? Because you know what I've been doing is that every time I find a really stylish article on Substack or something that I love and agree with, or even a YouTube video that I like, I just paste the link into my second brain and I tell my agent to refer to that. And then over time, it kind of codifies and I say, tell me what you know about my taste. And then it tells me you're the kind of person who likes da 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 da.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Well, there we go. We have also developed this system called the living brain.
Yeah. You'll talk about that at the end of this workshop.
Yes, but yes, the anatomy of codified taste is really these 8 pieces. But the most important thing is being able to tell it your point of view, what excellent looks like, because excellence must always be told before it can be generated. Otherwise, it will not be excellent. You know, and you also need to look what is the pattern that is recognizably yours. And that is important because like Crystal has a very unique pattern compared to me, for example, in a good way, of course, right? Okay. And as intelligence becomes abundant, human value actually really shifts.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, because what really makes us deeply human at our core is judgment, ethics, taste, right? Cross-domain curiosity and trust. I mean,
and storytelling.
And storytelling. Well, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of, you know, parents who come to me and say, oh my God, what happens to my kids? You know, in the age of AI, they're going to be replaced. Robots going to take over their jobs. But actually, this is the point where you need to give your kids cross-domain experiences.
Yes.
That is the most important, because they need to have all of these varied experiences so they can stand out in the workplace. I was doing this at this LinkedIn bookshop on Friday when they were saying, oh, what do I do in the age of AI? I'm like, look, in your resume today, right, show all the stuff that you have built.
Yes.
All the new things that you have done, if you have built up some amazing, new system, if you've gone for a really great camp, you've done volunteering in this thing, put it out on your CV and show
Agree.
the use cases, right? I mean, that's one interesting part. But these are the things that AI can never replace in you. Right? AI is a very good brainstorming partner, but it doesn't have your unique lived experiences and your personal signature taste. All right, the next 3 to 6 months, we'll breeze through this. And don't worry, the slides are going to be made available for you after the webinar anyway. So the first prediction that we see in AI today is that the model gaps are going to really narrow because models are going to become increasingly commoditized, right? As we mentioned, like in the past, there were only like 5 models. Now there are like so many, thousands and thousands of them already, right? But the systems gap will widen because people are using so many models, but not really designing around the system.
Yes.
And I think every organization today, even people, right, we have our own system that we design around our own workflows, around family, work, personal growth. That is a system that we need to start thinking about, right? The second thing is token efficiency becomes procurement language, right? And
so true.
Yeah, you cannot just use high reasoning models for every single thing, right? And that is going to be something that procurement is going to start asking a lot. Third thing is that enterprise AI is going to become multi-model under the hood. So adding on to my previous point as well, model routing is going to be really, really important. Multiple models and not just depending on one model is going to be really, really critical.
Yes.
Right. And what enterprises really want is to have optionality without the operational chaos. And I think that's also becoming very, very important. Now, healthcare and coding are going to become the most visible AI battlegrounds because AI within healthcare, life sciences, a lot of frontier AI labs have really done that. OpenAI Life Sciences, Anthropic, Google as well. That's a huge area, and I would love to see how AI can really help foster new scientific breakthroughs. Coding is a means to an end.
Yes.
And that's why even Elon Musk recently made a bid for Cursor, $60 billion, and part of XAI, because XAI or Grok is the only model that didn't have that dedicated coding agent, right? And he needs it for his SpaceX IPO. So really, you're going to see that coding and healthcare are really going to be the most visible professional AI battlegrounds.
I was recently at a conference and I listened to like Tencent Medical, talk about healthcare and AI, and they were saying that patients are coming in and they're actually using AI to help them understand the doctor, where the doctor is giving them information, because oftentimes doctors speak too fast, they use too much jargon, the people can't understand them when they're elderly or they're seniors or whatever, and they needed to remember like how many times a day I take this, what's this about, whatever. And sometimes the doctor's just like, and then like you can't remember.
Yeah.
And then so like the whole idea is that AI is actually being embraced by the consumer. And this is an important part of the human touch of AI, right? Where the people actually feel supported by AI rather than it being that cliche of it's just going to take over our jobs and be our enemy.
Exactly. There we go. Yeah. And agent benchmarks are going to become more like simulations and less like exams. So if there's one thing that if you're really curious about this, basically normal benchmarks would basically have AI sit an exam, a bit like the PSLE, standardized testing essentially, right? And then you right, wrong, whatever. But the more interesting simulations now are when, for example, you ask Opus or Sonnet or GPT 5.5 to run a vending machine and see how much money they make, what lies they tell, and what bad decisions did they do. So that is more interesting. So basically, agent sort of exams and benchmarks are going to look more like real.
It's like a project work lah.
Ah, yes, like project work. There we go.
It's like that's like Stanford Business School setting you like a project to do rather than just like a MCQ exam.
Yes, exactly. So that's how really a lot of things are going to go. Now, this is a whole big topic by itself. I won't go into greater detail, but vending bench is one of my favorites, and you all should take a look at that. And harnesses are going to become the mode. If you are looking to build your own AI startup, like I have done, right? This is the area where I think is going to be a huge opportunity area, and the total addressable market is huge. And we love working with OpenAI. They've been really, really good to us, and Google as well. And they've given us a lot of support in helping us develop this as an ecosystem for us.
Amazing.
Yeah. And taste is becoming the human operating advantage. Yes, because in an age of abundance, discernment and judgment are going to be really the key qualities on how you are going to stand out. So remember today, do your optimized prompt and then your taste coded prompt and see the differences, and you will be surprised by the results. That's the one thing that you can immediately do today, even without.
I would say I taste is super important. And one thing that I've been practical thing I've been asking people to do is that before you do any form of public speaking or even making any piece of content or writing a LinkedIn post, I want you to think of 3 words that you would like to sort of like capture the essence of your voice. For example, is your voice frank, or is it funny, or is it warm? Is it like, empathetic? Is it intelligent? Whatever it is, but you need to kind of pick out three words that are really the essence of the tone of your voice. And like, if you kind of start using that as a very, very simple exercise to getting you to start defining your taste DNA, it's going to help you so much more in using AI in a way that doesn't make people go, oh, definitely confirm she used ChatGPT to write that.
Yeah, exactly. Because everyone can use AI today, right? And
Yes.
I like that. Those three words are actually very actionable, very
Mhm.
easy for you to immediately
Well,
start
for
doing.
me, you know what? I
Yeah.
always say, like, before I post any piece of content, it's got to be educational,
Mm.
it's got to be inspirational, and it's going to be entertaining. So every single piece of
Yes.
content that I write has to pass those three bars, and ideally all three. And that's how, I feel like it's very important for me to insert standards, like you said, and taste into my content so that it feels like me.
That is true. Your content is always very, very good on Instagram. That is true, actually. And okay, one way to kind of think about it, right? I know I keep saying models to systems, right? But it's like trying to compare which salmon is the best. Is it like New Zealand? Is it Tasmania? Is it, Scotland? But at the end of the day, the salmon can't just live on its own, it's got to go for what salt or what spices, how you're going to prepare it, the sous chef, the head chef, how you're going to put all of it together, the service. That's why some salmon dishes have 1 Michelin star, some have 0 Michelin star, right? Gordon Ramsay can basically create the best scrambled eggs, in the world, but we all have kitchens and we all have eggs, but not necessarily can cook scrambled eggs like Gordon Ramsay. So the same thing, AI is going to move from ingredients to cuisine, basically from models to systems, right? And all of this is really going to come together. So the question now is it's no longer which model is the best or the smartest, is really who can turn intelligence into trusted leverage the fastest.
Love
And
that.
is important. So we have to share more about our digital program.
Yes. Okay. We've come to that part of the evening where we're going to share some exciting news. So what you've just heard is Crystal just like a breakneck speed, like racing through all of this content. But sometimes when we first started offering these master classes, what we heard from our live masterclass participants in the face-to-face workshops was, I wish there was a replay button for Crystal. Like, I really like the part where she talked about world systems, but she went very fast. And I wish we could go for longer and I could like replay it because sometimes I need to hear it again. And then that's when we started thinking about what if we did self-paced online learning. And so many of you on Instagram actually wrote to me and said, I'm based overseas, or, I want to do this on my own time. I'm a working mom. Please ask Crystal to do her national service for the country and come up with like content that we can consume, bite-sized content. So we have put together a digital online course called Abundant Intelligence, where you can go as slow or as fast as you want, because everyone has different time sort of resources and everyone has got different, sort of ways of learning. So we've got over 10 hours of content. It's a lot. And we've also got we've got a beautiful downloadable workbook. We've got tons of slides and resources. And Crystal, do you want to give us a full kind of like a little preview about what this looks like?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So as part of the program, you get all of these amazing video modules that I personally recorded. It was not my AI avatar, so at least
it was.
I actually did all of that.
I know Crystal, she spoiled the freaking market for e-learning because as a very experienced person previously from a university and educate, nobody records videos that look so nice except for Crystal. So like normally we just do slides for e-learning. We do slides and then we have a little like thumbnail over the slides. But no, Crystal's courses modules look amazing.
Thank you. She's very good. Well, she set the standard very, very high, So, and without Crystal, we'll not be doing this Abundant Intelligence digital program for sure. But yes, and you would also get an additional workbook by Dr. Greg Lim-Lange, and of course,
it's the workbook by you, Greg. I didn't know it's by you.
He did the whole workbook. I read it. It was very good.
He didn't even tell me that he did the workbook.
AI mindset. It was very, very good. And of course, we also have one workbook by myself.
Oh,
Building
we
What
have
Matters.
two workbooks,
We have
one
two
from Greg and one from you. I understand now.
Yes,
I was like, how
exactly.
can Greg do this workbook?
Oh, no. There are two workbooks. There are two workbooks. There are
Okay,
two workbooks.
two workbooks for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
price
yeah.
of one.
Yes, exactly. And then you get to basically look at all these different frameworks. You can fill it up, do your own exercises with
Yes.
that, do it within your own time, own target. This is just a preview of one of the workbooks that we wrote.
Yes.
But you have many different content. So we have 10 hours of content across 32 lessons and two workbooks
Wow.
that we're dropping, which is very exciting.
Mhm.
Yes, and you will get that all today once you sign up. So basically introducing where AI is going, the new intelligence stack, agents as systems, so you can kind of see all of the differences around that, and even how to create your own AI operating system, how to map the work, how to delegate the work, how to repeat the work, how to look at the co-work triangle, how to look at ChatGPT agents, how to go from canvas to rhythm, how to map your recurring.
So basically, you're just taking like your Oxford Masters of AI. Crystal has 2 degrees from Oxford, by the way, and she's basically like crammed it into this course for you. And by the way, you must have spent like 6 digits to going back and forth between Singapore and Oxford. She flies physically to Oxford like every month to go and learn there. So she comes up with 2 master's degrees, right? And she's basically put all of this stuff in a low price of we will reveal next.
Melatonin has been my best friend in the last 2 years, I would say, honestly speaking.
Yes.
And of course, we cannot forget our dear Dr.
Who's this handsome guy?
Yeah, well, he's also come up with some extra modules for everyone, which is really nice because look, in an age of abundant intelligence, it's not enough to know the tools. You got to have the mindset, and that's what it means to be abundantly intelligent.
That's right.
Yes, exactly. So this is also part of the modules today, and we have 6 bonus modules that are dropping in the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
Extra 20 lessons. So we will give you the 32 lessons, and then you have the extra 20.
I told Crystal she has to stop like making content because we just have to launch the course. Because if we left it up to her, she will make it like 100 hours because she has so much to share. But I think this is really the most comprehensive course that you can ever find. It is literally from the soup to the nuts, from the ground all the way to the execution. And I feel like a lot of content that you find on YouTube out there is very much the last bit, which is like, how can you install like Claude Cowork? How can you use certain prompts with Claude Cowork? But because AI changes so fast, like all this stuff is going to be obsolete. The last mile is probably going to be obsolete very, very soon. But what we wanted to do is create a course where you're actually going to understand the fundamentals of what AI is, and you're going to understand like the principles of what this whole new era is actually about. And then all the way until the kind of like very tactical, very practical tactic stuff. Of course, we're going to have that as well. But I would say it goes deeper than anything I've seen in the market.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it was a labor of love, and it was not just me, my entire team was working on this as well. So very big thank you to the real chief of staff and Anastasia, everyone. Thank you very much. Will not be done. So it's over $5,000 of value.
I would say it's more. I would say that it's at least US $8,000 of value, having looked at all the stuff that you've done to get all together. But it's essentially almost like a degree in AI plus like an AI coach.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes. But this is all for you guys today. Very exciting. Many different things.
So we're going to reveal our offer.
Yay.
Yes. So instead of $5,000, our course, the normal price for this course is US $1,299, which is essentially a steal compared to anything that's comparable in the market out there. However, just for our special launch, from now till the end of June, it will be at 1,099. So, however, I said to Crystal, maybe can we do something special for the webinar audience? Because we know you guys have been queuing, waiting, thousands of you on the, and hundreds of you on the wait list as well. So we decided just for tonight, which is until midnight, we're going to have a very special, crazy, freaky, flash sale.
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Yes, we are going to have a special flash sale of just US $899 for this entire course. You have access for life. You get the workbooks. You can watch it. You can watch it with your kids. You can force them to watch it before their PSLE. I'm just kidding. You can go to it as a family. US $899 for this amazing course, only for today until midnight. So this is, we will drop the link in the chat if Anastasia can drop the link in the chat. Or what you can do is you can go to this website, learn.abundantintelligence.com, and immediately you will see our flash sale offer. Now, absolutely no pressure. You can take your time from now till midnight. If you do purchase it, it's $899 US. However, if you decide not to because it's too little time, that's okay. You get it at 1099 all the way till the end of the month. So that's perfectly fine. And then after the end of the month, it's going to go to its normal price, which is 1299 US. And we have a lot of organizations who are calling us and saying to us, like, this is like crazy cheap, because the amount of money that they would have spent sending their employees to training and all of that would be multiples of that for any business school, any sort of business school in Singapore, whether you're talking NUS, NTU, I don't care where you go to, for you to learn this kind of executive education, it's going to be multiples and multiples this sort of price. So that is our very, very special deal for today. And Greg, have they dropped it in the chat? Yes. Okay. So we're going to leave that link in the chat. But what we did want to do is also give you some bonus content, which is a preview of Chat, which is something that is a worldwide exclusive. Crystal is not just an AI pioneer in Singapore. She's actually a genuine AI pioneer in the world, and is forever flying to Palo Alto to talk to all the great and good at Claude and OpenAI and whatever. And we actually are going to have you're going to have a launch with OpenAI
on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, this Wednesday in Singapore. So you guys are getting to hear some of this stuff before the official joint launch with an announcement with OpenAI on Wednesday.
Yay, thank you. Okay, let me quickly stop sharing this, and then I'll show you guys what the platform looks like now that you have the link.
Yes.
So 1 minute.
So what we're going to do in a moment is give you a very special preview of Crystal's new secret project that she's launching with OpenAI on Wednesday, and it's called Chat. And OpenAI and her have been collaborating on this for a very long time, and it's super exciting as Singaporeans because finally we have an AI company founded by our very own homegirl, Crystal, that's going to be on the global stage, supported by absolute frontier company OpenAI. And I can see lots of people are so glad to be part of this.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is how Chat looks like. I have it on my phone, I have it on my laptop, I have it on my computers, but essentially it looks like WhatsApp. Imagine if you were going to like WhatsApp on your phone, but instead of WhatsApp group chats with people, you have WhatsApp group chats with agents, and each agent is helping you do different things.
Yeah, exactly. So as you can see here, there's so many different things happening. My chief Tom is sending me all.
Oh my God, are you actually showing them your entire? You better make sure all your whatever.
Yeah. All good. But as you can see here, I have many different agents running. But I'll come back to Chief Tom, because basically Chief Tom is someone that I talk to every day, on the platform itself. So I have different agents running on the platform: a chief of staff agent, a fitness agent, meal planning whatsoever. And basically, you can basically call Chief Tom if you don't like to type to him. You can actually see the agent receipts, so you can see here what the agent has basically been doing. It's been getting YouTube links, it's been looking at Slack, it's been reading the brain, right? It has multiple different skills. So that is also going to be covered in the course as well, what a skill is and how to write a skill. Brain is very cool. Every agent within Chat has access to 6 different integrations, and we keep it scoped so that you don't explode the agent. And besides, every agent should have a role, right? And you can really only access 6 proper integrations at once. You can also enable proactive workflows with all of your agents. So say, for example, if your boss had emailed you, right, 3 emails suddenly in 15 minutes, your agent will say, hey, your boss has just emailed you 3 times and you're not responded. You better go look at it now. And by the way, I've drafted the email draft.
Yes, that's what Sherlock said to me just now. He was like, your client keeps on chasing you for this, you better reply to it. So they are absolutely, agents are not like ChatGPT. When you don't have to go into them and tell them to do things, agents are proactively coming to you and telling you stuff that you need to be aware of as well.
Exactly. And you can see here that I basically created 11 scheduled tasks for my agents as well, which is really, really handy. So
Oh, can you share the slide? Oh, we will do that at the end. So yeah, Jutio, I'll do that in a moment.
okay, no problem. Yeah, so basically, for example, my chief of staff agent is able to see morning briefing, evening wrap up, GitHub review queue, AI daily summary, finding me the most important updates about AI and compile 10 that I need to know. So
Mhm.
all of this basically can be done and easily programmed within chat itself. And it can even have group chats with humans and agents together, which is
Yeah.
very exciting. So you can have humans and agents all running together. Different integrations. So we have many different integrations here, right from fitness to productivity to GitHub, the Google related ones, Luma, MyFitnessPal, Notion, open banking with the US and our European friends through Revolut and Wise, Strava, TikTok, Instagram, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We have skills that you can basically install for your agent. We even have an agent store. If you, in case you don't know what to create, you can just immediately go in here and start your agent immediately. So if I want my chief of staff agent, I can just set him up, and it's very straightforward.
Sorry, I just have a question. If
Yeah.
I don't want to use chat or ChatAndBuild, how much would I be able to learn? So I think in a moment, Crystal's also going to demo, even if you don't use chat for as your agent software, if you have Chat GPT, which I think all of you have,
Yeah.
Crystal's also going to show us
Okay, start then
very
finish, switch.
simply
Yeah.
how. Guys, can we mute the participants? So very simply, we're going to see how we can use ChatGPT to build an agent today after this.
Yeah.
And people are also asking how much do agents cost to operate? So I guess, Crystal, you can talk
Yeah.
about how the business model in a bit too.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So basically for us, I mean, at least within chat itself, again, it's like a simple subscription plan.
Yeah.
So we start from like basically just less than $20 a month, unless you're going for full, 50 agents in your roster and you're using it on a
Yes.
multiple parallel basis. Then of course you can go for the $200 per month plan, but you can
Yes.
start for as little as $20 per month, which is less than $1 a
Yeah.
day, and you get your agent.
So I will just like quickly share with you. I've only started using Crystal's chat agent platform like for 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks? Not
Yeah.
even 2 weeks. We had launched Deep Human Club. Some of you may have seen DHC. And I had to create all these Instagram stories with an abstract, like blue and yellow background. And basically that would have normally taken my team a lot of time to do the carousel and like all that information. But essentially, I was uploading all these pages of our website into the living brain, which I know many of you are curious about. And because of that, my agent was already able to know what is Deep Human Club, what is it about, all the information about it. So when I said I told it I'm going to launch Deep Human Club season 5, I need all the social media graphic collaterals on IG story format. Immediately, my agent was able to pull out a whole series of stories proactively and set it to me for submission. And in the meantime, I had my chief of staff agent, Sherlock, and Sherlock was basically I had given Sherlock like 20 different dates for season 5 events. So we had 20 dates. And typically for my team, it takes us 2 weeks because what will happen is that somebody like Imelda or my PA or Erina, she'll have to create manual Google Calendar entries for each of these events. And then we'll have to like put it in a display sheet and send it to our members. But in this case, I told Sherlock, go to my email and read this particular email inbox and find all the events that are labeled Deep Human Club events and come up with a calendar and create Google Calendar invites. And it did everything that would have taken us 2 weeks, but it took 5 minutes. So absolutely unbelievable. And I am now a huge convert. But as many of you in the chat are saying, how about the safety and security considerations? So like Crystal said, you need to be really smart about what you connect your agents to. For instance, when I connect my agents to my email, I'm giving it access to an email that doesn't have any sensitive information to it. Now, a lot of what people are doing is that they're setting up separate Gmail accounts, separate email accounts, and then they are sending all the documents that or correspondence that the agent would need to that specific email account. So you're not going to hear horror stories like, I gave access to my email to my agent and it deleted all my email. You never want that to be the case.
Yeah.
You got to be really smart. And like what Crystal says, sandbox it so that whatever you give your agent access to, it is in a safe way. But Crystal will also tell you, make sure that you just don't download any like rogue sort of agent software. The thing about ChatChat is that, do you want to talk a little bit about the safety protocols of why ChatChat agents won't like delete all your emails and stuff like that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so I would say that if you come to say to integrations, right, you can very, very easily see, for example, right, what access the agents have, to which information it is.
And these are, by the way, official APIs that
Yeah.
issued like by Google. So when you see Google Mail, right, Crystal has actually gone to Google and negotiated officially with Google to go and do this connection. So like it is an authorized connection with all of the safety, like the MOUs have been signed and everything. So it's a higher standard than if say OpenClaw, where anybody has like sort of like bootleg their own access.
Because basically what OpenClaw does is it has access to all your signed-in sessions on your browser. But whereas even for Google, right, we had to go through the highest levels of security verification, CASA and all of that, even LinkedIn. So even TikTok, Instagram. So all of that has to be manually approved to make sure that we are basically really segregating and treating all of our user data with the strictest of confidence.
Where does the user data live?
Yeah. So basically we have separate instances for all of that as well. And of course, we're also coming up with this version on the Mac, where say the Windows as well, where basically that can be stored locally as well if you want. So that's
we have a question as well. I already use paid versions of Claude, Gemini, Perplexity. I don't have GPT. How transferable are these skills and prompts to other chatbots?
Oh, you can use that for all of that across the board. The prompts are like, a universal language. You don't have to worry about that. We will also send you the slides after this session as well. And what I will do, I'll quickly share about the brain.
People wanted to hear about this living brain.
Okay, yes. So the living brain is a huge innovation for us because that is basically our take on a compounding knowledge memory layer within, the agent space. And we're going to make this available also as an SDK and an API, so you can connect it.
Sorry, what SDK?
Okay, so if you're a developer, you can basically use this and connect this to whatever AI platform you want, even outside of ChatChat itself if you want. And that's something we're very excited about. So we even developed these scores, a bit like...
Oh, so you mean this brain can talk to other apps and other, like outside of ChatChat lah. So like this is my brain, and then like let's say I use Claude, then Claude can reference this brain that's living on ChatChat.
Yes. So eventually what we would like to do is, for example, to have this integrated with an official partnership with Canva, for example, or Notion. That's sort of how we'll make this available in different platforms outside of the ChatChat platform as well. So what we've also done is even to kind of put in, different brain metric scores, how fresh it is, how ready it is, how strained it is.
Oh my God. Right? Okay, show us your brain.
My brain, yes. So my brain here, so I spent about maybe 3.5, 4 weeks developing this brain, and it has many different connections, and you can see all of what is basically connected to. So say, for example, if I want to kind of look at something like Oxford panel on trustworthy AI, basically, right? So all of this basically comes in, and it actually even links to immediately key individuals from Plate and OpenAI as an example here. So this brain is something that allows us to import information easily and also shows you the connection that it forms to. So basically, if I read something last week, my brain can actually tell me, hey, this relates to something that you just read, 2 weeks ago, and based on your chat history, which is all indexed, this is how all of it can work together. So
Sherlock did that too. Today, Sherlock told me, I asked her to do something, and he said to me, by the way, there's a non-obvious connection. Because to something else that's in your brain that's on psychological safety. Because I was like, oh, Mothership asked me about like and I was like, and then he was like, okay, don't forget you wrote something about psychological safety to this other media outlet before. Let me pull it up, sort of thing. So like that was like something I couldn't remember, but because my brain had remembered it was there.
Exactly. So even within the brain profile, right, you can basically surface non-obvious connections. You can challenge my assumptions, answer for my brain, and flag contradictions to my
Oh my God, we have, by the way, I should say Rowena has just said this is very insightful tips. Thank you so much. Should we answer some more questions as well?
Yes. WhatsApp API. Yes. So we actually have integrated the WhatsApp API here. So you can basically get notifications from your agents through WhatsApp. The only problem is that the Meta Business API for WhatsApp is actually very, very limited. So we can't do a lot of things because that's how they have controlled the platform. Otherwise, you would have seen a lot of WhatsApp related integrations for a long time, right? So we are trying to work our way around that. But I would say the best way to experience ChatChat is through a Telegram bot that you can easily set up within our system system. You don't have to do any coding at all. It's very straightforward. It's just like one click, and then done. And you get notifications sent to your Telegram very, very easily.
Yeah, so
as well.
Crystal taught us basically, firstly, you install Telegram. Secondly, she showed us how to set up a Telegram bot. And then once that is done, you have a Telegram chat, just like a WhatsApp, like a one chat in there that says like your brain. So you can name that chat like Crystal's brain.
Yeah.
And now what I do is that whenever I see something interesting online, I take the link to the whatever, say news article, and I drop the link into that Telegram chat, and it directly ports it from that chat into my brain. So just by using Telegram.
Yes, exactly. So I would
Or
say,
you can do it in WhatsApp, in chat as well. So I always have my chat website open.
Yeah.
And if I want to store anything in the brain, I can just basically drop it into any chat on chat and say, add this to my brain.
Yes, exactly. So this is a full-fledged platform. You get all of the features, just even starting from as little as $20 per month. But what I would say is that we are very, mindful as well. I mean, I think some people have basically said that, how much salary do I have to pay my agents in terms of tokens, right? Well, in truth to be told, we don't develop our own frontier AI models. We do work very closely with the frontier AI labs, of course, and we try to make our plans as economical as possible as well. And we do also develop our own techniques where we do prompt caching and batch processing as well, and model routing. So you don't just spend expensive tokens on everything else as well. But fact of the matter is you do have to pay for, obviously the service.
So you're saying like basically it's like 20 something, like how much is it per month?
Less than that 20, I think $19 per month.
19 Sing dollars?
No, US.
So it's like 19 US dollars per month for like an average user who has like, let's say, a meal planner nutritionist that comes up with your meals for the week. You've got a chief of staff that's like setting up your meetings and reminding everyone the next day about their meetings, and like, basically ordering you Uber. By the way, Crystal's agent is like shopping for groceries. She showed us how she uses the agent to order her groceries and how it's ordering her Uber when she's like overseas and that kind of stuff. So like generally for like 3, 4, 5 agents, it should be able to fit within $19 a month.
Definitely, exactly. So I think someone was also asking what are the modules that you are able to get from everything else as well. So these are all the modules that you'll be able to get. So already,
Crystal, do you want to show them the Kajabi? Okay, so those of you who are asking about the curriculum, we're going to show you exactly what it looks like.
And again,
okay.
There we go.
All right. So this is actually what our course looks like. After you pay for the course and then you create your login, you're actually going to see this course like this. And it says like, welcome to Abundant Intelligence. But, this is basically the format. So every single lesson you can hit play, and this is going to be like a video. You can see all your workbook slides and everything, all your downloads are here. So this is what the navigation looks like. It also works on your mobile phone really well. So you can watch all these lessons when you're on the MRT, when you're computing. So yeah, if you can go back, Crystal, and see like, okay, scroll down. So we can see this is like module 1, the new intelligence stack, and it's got like 5 little sub lessons underneath it. And then go down all the way. So module 2, agents as systems and all of this. So each video lesson comes, each one is a video lesson that's beautifully shot and edited. And, if you're not clear about something, I would just say like, spend more time on it, come back and watch it again, leave us a comment. But also there's the beauty of this is that you can skip to the parts that you're really interested in. So for example, like if you're really interested in like delegating the work, you can skip to module 2, for example, or like if you want to go into like workplace space agent canvas, you can go straight to module 3, etc. So the beauty of this is that you have it there. Every single thing is there. And like Crystal's like adding a whole ton of content there. On top of this core content, there's also some more bonus content that's coming.
Yeah, exactly. But as you can see, it's a very, very straightforward.
Do you want to scroll all the way down so they get a sense of like how many?
Yeah, it's all split up. It's all split up. So so this is like one example of
oh my God, it's so pretty.
Oh, thank you. Yes. But like, I mean, basically there are 4 sections here now. One is with Dr. Greg, of course, right? And he has different modules here. Then after that, we obviously have the Abundant Intelligence, the master module, where we have basically one module, which is where AI is going, and there are 4 modules here.
Okay, we have some more questions. Some people are saying that they have signed up. Thank you so much. With Chat, do we need to continue paying for our current platforms like Claude, etc.?
Well, I mean, it's up to you for sure. I mean, feel free to continue that, and you can always try our platform.
I think you should do an experiment. Like me currently, I'm still paying for Claude and ChatGPT. But for the the lower levels, like the pro, not the crazy ones, but like because I found Chat actually I'm using it more and more to take over my stuff.
Yeah.
Can you share some tips on how to optimize Chat for a working mom? By the way, I would also say that Chat, Crystal was sharing that also can help you with your kids, right?
Yeah.
In terms of
Yeah. So basically, like even here, right? I mean, we basically even created things like, a home tutor agent, a home meal planner chef.
Tell us how Fluffy works. This
Yeah, so Fluffy is basically like a home tutor agent that, I basically created it within like 2 minutes, basically. But I made it part of the agent store because we had a few people coming to us and
Yes.
we want a home tutor agent. And you can just set up Fluffy immediately and you say, hi, how is it going? Tell me more about physics, something like that. And, it basically is able to talk to you or your kid, right, about physics topics. Yay,
So imagine that, you've got your kids and, you want to perhaps say, I want to homeschool my kids in physics or whatever. Tell me about what like the curriculum would look like, or here's the curriculum that my kid is doing. Like, what are some great questions or projects that we can do on the weekend, or how do I start, helping my kid with his schoolwork about blah blah blah. So like I think that's one really great application. But as a working mom, something for me personally, I find takes out a lot of time is that I'm very lucky to have a domestic helper, but my domestic helper is asking me all the time, Mom, do you want to have lunch? Are you having lunch at home? Are you having dinner at home? And then the next question will be like, oh, do you want me to cook for lunch, or what should I cook? And so like, I find that, all the time I'm being asked this kind of very repeatable questions. So what I told my chief of staff, Sherlock, to do is I said, because he's connected to my Google Calendar, he said, look at my Google Calendar and figure out when I'm having dinner, lunch and dinner at home, which is when you don't see like the lunch or dinner blocks, right? And he's really, really good at that. So I basically say, come up with a meal schedule, including blocking, telling my helper like when I'm having lunch outside and when I'm having lunch at home. And then like basically these are I fed my living brain with a sample of all the weekly menus that we had done in the past. And then now it's all done by my agent. So I don't have to do the weekly roster as well as the weekly menu planning again. And Crystal is also like showing, I haven't gone down to the grocery shopping, but you were telling me like all of the various different platforms you've tried, like Redmart, Lazada, right? There's certain ones that your agent is helping you with.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, my agent within Chat was able to help me book dinner table reservations, within Singapore, Barry's classes, the grocery one is a bit more interesting because sometimes it's a bit more complicated, but I find that NTUC, Fair Price and Cold Storage work very well. Redmart is terrible because they have so many anti-agent, anti-bot kind of things.
So like, let me double click on this. So when I asked my agent to order me something on Amazon, right? Basically, one thing that's really crazy about Crystal's chat platform is that each agent has a little computer screen that opens up. Okay, so I don't know why you want to demo this, Crystal, but like when you ask like your chief of staff, order me groceries from Redmart, it will literally open up a little computer screen on the right-hand side, which you can see now, and it will show you the browser of what it's doing. And it will literally, you can see it going to Amazon and clicking on like things. And then it will occasionally ask you things like, can you please enter your password in here? So, and enter whatever your credit card details or whatever, so that you can complete the checkout, but it'll have put everything in your basket. So Crystal's doing it now. You can see on the right-hand side. And this is viewing essentially what the agent is doing.
Yeah, so I said like, book me dinner tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. in Distro Duvan, Singapore for 2. And I kind of just navigate away, and then he will start doing his own thing and reasoning and thinking. So we have integrated like Google Places as well. So it's able to pull out the information.
I'll give you another example. So Greg's mom is 90 and she's not very mobile now. She needs like a stick to walk, right? So we've organized like her birthday trip in Venice in 2 weeks' time. Now I want to book a water taxi tour, a private tour for her, but the boat, she cannot get in a boat because, without a ramp. So essentially I got Sherlock and what he did is that he emailed 20, he did research first, and he found 20 different companies for water taxis in Venice that said disability friendly. and he emailed all of it. He said, shall I send this email draft to them? And it was like, show me a photo of your ramp, what kind of whatever it is. So he basically had this email drafted, and I said yes. So then he emailed 20 of them, and then every single day he was collating the responses for me, and he was saying that so far 3 companies have come back, and one of them has supplied photographs of the disability ramp on the boat, and he made a recommendation to go with that company. So again, it's like, your agents can do as much or as little as you want to empower them with.
Yeah.
But what I liked about Sherlock was that he was always coming to me and saying, like, here's the draft that I've prepared. Do you want me to send this out? And I could like veto everything first.
Yeah.
So you can see right now. So this is the agent computer running in
Yeah.
Kwandu, and it's found the reservation, and it's trying to book Crystal a table for 2 at Bistro Devan.
A Shaw Center, yeah. So basically, it's like, and it takes periodic screenshots, and then it's able to send it to you.
I can see it working now. It just got the time slots.
Yeah, so there we go. So it's sort of like doing that right now, and it knows that tomorrow is Tuesday. Thank God, So yeah, all of these things.
Okay, people are asking.
Yeah.
When can it connect to Notebook LM?
I actually have not. Oh, you're talking about chat, or you're talking
The
about
Living
module?
Brain?
The Living
Is
Brain.
it the Living Brain?
Oh, that's actually a very good point. I need to look into that. Let me come back to you on that one.
Okay.
I didn't even think about that. That's
Okay.
a good point.
Oh, they want to see how to build their basic agents on ChatGPT. Okay,
Yes.
let's do that now. That's really fun.
Okay, yeah. So this is very easy to do.
Okay, guys, we are now on ChatGPT. As you can see, this is no longer chat. This is your normal standard ChatGPT that all of you already have. Okay.
Okay, so you just had to come to create
Hang on,
agent
you got to show them the sidebar, because I think they
agents.
Okay, you see out here, normally you guys go to the left-hand side, you go to chats, right?
Yeah.
But now you're going to go down to see agents, where it's got the new button next to it.
Yeah.
You're going to click on the agents in your sidebar on ChatGPT.
Okay, exactly. And then you can come create agents. So you can say, create for me a chief of staff agent. Staff agent. Very simple to do. Again, this is basically a stock standard, ChatGPT. I believe this is mostly available in a business subscription as well.
Pro.
Yeah,
I've got the $20 one, and it does this.
Yeah. Oh, well, there we go. Yeah. So you need to have a paid plan, of course, not the free ChatGPT plan.
Yeah, I think mine's the $19 one or something like that. But I have got this agent thing on ChatGPT too.
Yeah. So basically, as you can see, it goes into the planning mode, right? Prepare, so maybe I can pull out, Google Calendar, and then only, or I can even put the guardrails, like I said, every morning if I want, reply in ChatGPT, etc. So basically, this is, again, very, very simple to set up, and you can basically do it, sort of anytime you want. But this is also a very good way to practice your workflows that you want to do. Now, of course, you can also use Claude Cowork. You can that is also a very popular example of how to do it. And of course, if you're very advanced and you like to use the terminal, you can use Claude Code for that as well. But I would find that ChatGPT agents is actually just very, very simple to set up without any hassle at all, and you can always use that to optimize your prompts, and it's very cost efficient. So that's what we try to do as well. Yeah. So you can see here again, it's very straightforward. It's very easy to use, very straightforward to set up, and you can even see the agent just working in the background, thinking, with the cursor kind of moving around as well. Like I literally didn't type anything. And it's able to kind of detect, which integrations to add, about the operating instructions. And this is where I think a lot of the things which we covered around codified taste is super critical. And you can basically use that to optimize that. Now, within ChatChat itself, we're slightly different, because within our workflow, we're able to add custom skills immediately to the agent creation process. And you can also define your proactive workflows. And you can also add your scheduled tasks immediately that is auto-suggested by AI. And that is how we're different from ChatGPT agents. But even as a very brief overview, you can see here it's very easy to see, and ChatGPT just basically does all the hard work for you. You just tick, and you're done, right? I love using the Codex application as well, which is also done by OpenAI. Again, very, very easy to use and simple, but it's a little bit more of a complicated process compared to this. But today, even using this, as you can see, is very straightforward, and then you can modify it from there.
Somebody asked, like, did I hear that ChatChat can call the restaurant or clinic to make an appointment? I think the easiest thing for the agents do is that they email. So let me give you an example. Like recently, I was trying to book a eye doctor for my dad, right? And then like basically I asked it to go to, and I was a bit desperate. So basically it emailed all the eye doctors around, and it like literally emailed like 20 of them to see who could make an appointment on this particular date. But most clinics, it could scan the internet and say like, oh, everything in central area. I've emailed every single clinic. And if you were to do that as a human being, it would take you ages. And immediately it could collate and say to me like, 3 clinics have gotten back, and here are the available appointment times. Which one do you want me to go ahead with? And I said choose clinic A, for example. Then email the clinic back and said your appointment's confirmed. So like it can also give the email on the contact form. It can say like WhatsApp Crystal at this phone number, and then immediately the clinic send me a WhatsApp and said your appointment has been confirmed for blah blah blah. So, I mean, that was just one example for when I had a family member in trouble, immediately was able to help me solve this very real problem of getting an eye appointment for my dad in a very short notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, it's very easy. Yes. I want
Yes.
to say a very big thank you to Sophia for your very nice words. Thank you so much. And I remember Sophia attended our very first hackathon actually at open sourced. I remember
Yes.
that. Thank you
Oh,
very
by the
much.
way, Stephanie says, can we sign up for Chat now? You want to give us the timeline? So on Wednesday, we are, well, I should say Crystal is doing the open AI announcement of Chat. So is it on Wednesday that people can sign up?
We are starting to let people slowly come in, and there'll be like a queue system because we are a bit afraid of the overwhelming number of people.
Yeah, so Crystal actually gave preferential access to all the masterclass attendees for Chat access. And then we've been spending the last 2.5 weeks beta testing. So with everybody, who has been using it. But immediately, I think everyone from the masterclass already has like 3 to 6 agents, and they're all running all kinds of things going on. But I would say the beauty of what you're doing, Crystal, is that it's so easy to do it on your mobile phone, just like WhatsApp. I've even gotten Greg on it, and Greg is like the biggest. Yeah, he's the biggest turtle ever. Come over here. He said it's really fun and it's really easy.
I don't know if I should be admitting this because I'm talking about having the right AI mindset, but I'm the best test case. Like usually I've been avoiding these new tools and they've been a bit, it's like, I don't know if I can do this myself, but when Crystal helped me log on, I've been playing around with it and it's actually super.
Okay, what's the thing that amazed you the most about your agent?
Well, first of all, the ease of the interface. It's not complicated at all. It's super intuitive. It's literally just like WhatsApp.
Okay, give me like a specific thing that your agent did that like blew your mind.
Well, just doing tasks for me, like email or like do some research online, look for a restaurant, a doctor, and a certain thing that I'm looking for.
It's been booking a romantic restaurant.
Yes. Okay, I'm exiting.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
See you. Okay, I will continue answering some questions.
If you have multiple IG accounts, can it be linked to more than one account?
Yeah.
Really? I haven't tried that one yet. I only got a link to my one account.
Yes.
Also, basically, you have a different agent for each account lah.
Yeah, even email account and everything else. Yeah. So you can do all of that as well.
God, I didn't think of that.
Oh no.
Oh,
sorry.
Oh, we gotta gap it back.
Okay, gap it back. Okay, sorry. Cameraman asking me to gap it back. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Did we miss out any questions or not? Everyone's like very excited about chat, and okay. When your brain grows and learns, do we get to configure the brain or tell it where to focus more?
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
you can definitely do that. That's not an issue.
Okay.
So, I mean, the living brain is growing and evolving, so you can always go into prune information to, help it understand some of the connections better as well. And as you talk to your agents, so basically all of the chats of your agents that's connected to a brain, all of those chats are auto-indexed to the brain every 30 minutes as well. So you basically convert short-term memory to long-term memory of the brain. Yes.
So I'll tell you another use case because a lot of you guys are asking about Instagram now. And obviously I'm a super heavy user of Instagram. And one of the things I got my social media agent, her name is Black Milk. Anyway, one thing that I got my social media agent to do was I gave it my Instagram handle and I said, I want you to go and do a social media audit on my Instagram page. And I want you to look at the last 50 posts that I've done, and I want you to notice, give me a report on which are the most viral ones and this or whatever, and then tell me all the things that I need to do to improve my traction. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, probably not, but one thing that's changed is my IG profile strap line. So it used to say something like Crystal SG Work Bestie or something like that. So when this audit came back, it was very savage, and they were like, this SG's Work Bestie line is not working for you, and we need to pivot away from that, because one thing is like, it's very small, like just SG, right? And it's also, it doesn't get give people an idea of like what you actually do, like how do you help leaders. And that's when my agent said to me, I want you to change your title or your headline for all your social media platforms to something like Crystal Lim-Lange, helping the best leaders in the world speak with substance and style. I was like,
I didn't know that came from ChatChat.
that came from ChatChat.
I saw a bio and I was like, oh, that's a very nice bio.
Yeah, because it used to say like your work, it used to be like your work bestie or SG's work bestie. And then my agent was like, this cannot. So it was so funny. That actually came from ChatChat. Yeah, so
because you have a global audience.
I know I have a global audience as well. And it was this bestie thing also told me that it was a bit like too juvenile, like maybe it would appeal to like Gen Zs or like, young ladies or something like that. But if it's like, maybe it's like senior, C-suites, it may not appeal so much. Anyway, so I'm digressing. But the fact is that your agents, what I do is that I'm a real, I cannot say this term, I'm a real tyrant boss. Before I go to sleep, I assign all my agents things to do. Very short one. Before I go to sleep, do you do this?
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I will assign Sherlock things to do. I will assign like every agent has things to do while I sleep. And then when I wake up in the morning, it's very short because they have done all of it. Especially what I love to assign my Instagram agent is to come up with background. So for instance, on my Instagram stories, I like to have a background so that I can write text on, right? So that it's like not so boring. But the thing is that if you just copy paste from whatever screenshot Pinterest, there's copyright issues. Yeah, so what I do is like, let's say I need a bunch of backgrounds. I'll just say before I go to bed, come up with like 20 different abstract wallpaper backgrounds about this theme. And then when I wake up in the morning, all of it is ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. And no, I love, by the way, all the backgrounds that you generated. And the one thing that how this actually happens is that every agent basically is given its own what we call persistent runtime.
Yeah.
And what that actually means is that it's able to do stuff when you're sleeping.
Yes.
That's why.
It does that. By the way, people are asking, we keep on getting this question, which AI agent is running ChatChat? Is it ChatGPT? I think you already said it's all of them.
Yeah, it's all of them. We do model routing across the board.
Yeah, so basically your ChatChat agent is able to access every single platform, every single model. It can go to Claude, it can go to Gemini, it can go to ChatGPT. So basically they have a very sophisticated algorithm that tells your agent for this kind of query that you just sent it, which model is the best, which is why we're saying agents is the new thing. It's no longer models. Is really, you tell your agent what to do, and then your agent uses its judgment. Remember, structured workflows with judgment, and it uses its judgment to decide how best to problem solve, because you are giving the agent a problem, but the agent on the back end has access to a computer, Google search, it can email things, it can actually choose from whatever platforms, and that's why your agent is so much more powerful than a ChatGPT.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're trying to do. And we've given this, we made this as a platform, made it as easy as possible for anyone to be able to experience.
Okay, I think we have like, oh my God, we've substantially overrun. Maybe like just one or two more questions. Can ChatChat or the Second Brain link to LinkedIn and track posts of those that you follow?
Yeah, okay, so right now we have, I think, the starting data verification, where basically you are able to post directly to LinkedIn from your ChatChat agent itself. But for us to kind of do deeper analysis, we are actually getting a higher security scope from LinkedIn right now, which will take a bit of time to do because LinkedIn is very concerned about basically privacy of their users and that. So we're taking our time to do that security questionnaire a bit more thoroughly. So not yet, but it can basically do, I think, some levels of that. I think Chelsea, our head of ops, was trying that out, and she was managing to kind of find different ways on how, okay, help me craft a post, LinkedIn post that's more similar to
No, but I think you can do this, because I asked my social media agent, basically I can tell it, for instance, go to LinkedIn and find all like Leila Hormozi's posts on LinkedIn or whatever it is. So you can just give it the names of like, these are 5 influencers I really like on LinkedIn. Because the thing is that the agent has access to a browser. So it can access LinkedIn through the browser, and everything that public figures post is publicly available on your like Google Chrome or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you can do that even without the LinkedIn API.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So someone was asking, how can we assess the quality of what the agent source? And that's why, unlike other platforms, we actually provide a very complicated and very comprehensive multi-step reasoning timeline. So you can go and capo and see everything that is basically done, the thinking. We even provide the full code if you want to read everything on how they've actually done that, so that you can be confident and assured in how they've actually derived all of the information.
That goes to Rachel's question, like, do we need to be cautious about personal data privacy, right?
Yeah. So basically, like, for example, in this case, right, I was able, basically, Chief Tom was able to find me the reservation, but all of the other parts at the end, I have to put it in myself.
Yeah, so it says here, like, do you want me to pause the desktop so you can enter the details yourself, or should I proceed using your saved contact details,
It's
right?
available, exactly. So this really depends on how you want to share the information, because you can actually use this computer and say, take over, then I can just basically, type here directly myself if I don't want to save my information.
So when you type inside the agent's computer over here,
you can type it
you
in.
can type it in, but the agent's not going to remember this, right? So
No.
this is like not stored.
No, this is not stored. And you can specify it so, because, well, it's not stored.
Yeah.
Basically, it's
Okay.
like, yeah, it's the agent's computer. So if I want to continue typing in here, I say like, oh, Crystal, whatever, I can do that.
Okay, so we are coming to the end of our class. And as you can see, Crystal is like so much energy. In fact, we both do. And we both love sharing all of this with you. And, this community is more than just a course. I would say that what we're creating here is a movement. Abundant intelligence is a movement because AI shouldn't be thought of as artificial intelligence. It's really intelligence that's abundant and not scarce. And we want you not to have a fear or scarcity mindset about this. We want you to know that, Crystal and I, like I mentioned, law student and geography student have no right to be in AI, but yet we are here, and we're here to give you all of you confidence that we can do it together. And not only do we have this course that you can have as a resource, we are going to be hosting a lot more events, community events, invites under the banner of Abundant Intelligence.
Yeah.
And we hope to see you at any of our events. We're going to have paid events, but also free events. And, I hope that that with this new movement, that we have more and more people come and join us, so that we can have people who really mean well, have great taste, have great ethics, have their hearts in their right place. And we can get together to use AI proactively and shape it in a way that serves us, rather than feeling that we are swept along in this wave of something that we can't understand.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you so much, Crystal.
No,
for
thank
everything.
you.
Thank you. Yay.
Yay.
Bye.
Thanks so much, everyone. And with that, we wish you a very, very good evening. And please do send us any of your questions on Instagram. You know my Instagram handle and Crystal's handle. We will be on Instagram for at least an hour after this, like answering your questions. If you have any, questions or follow on after this. And yes, we will send you the slides afterwards. We've got all your email addresses, so don't worry. And yeah. And also flash sale till midnight. Yay!
High five.
Woo!
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Lots of love.